Hello and welcome to the Cubbears fan report for May the 14th, 2025. I got my Cub hat, my Cub jersey, my Bears jersey. I'm talking about Cubs and Bears, but it was an exciting night for the Cubs last night on the 13th as they walked it off. They struggled against Miami. I thought this was going to be an easy win for the Cubs, but they didn't score a lot going into the ninth inning. They were trailing 4-2 and rallied for 3 runs with Justin Turner hitting a walk-off double down the line and scoring 2 runs, one from first base and the other just walked in from third. And it was a comeback win. Horner got a hit to make it a 1-run game. And then Justin Turner, who's been struggling and a lot of people have been complaining about him, found a way to reach out across the plate on a slider that was left up in the air, and the Cubs won. The win goes to Chris Flexen, who has been a decent acquisition. He's pitched really well. The Cubs roughed him up last year when he was on the Sox, but he's not on the Sox this year. He is pitching well. It was a debut for Moise Ballesteros, a catcher who had the designated hit, and he put the ball in play. He just couldn't hit the ball with authority yesterday. But he's a promising rookie. Cade Horton's come up, and the Bears have announced the schedule release will be tonight. But we know the strength of the schedule. We know who they're going to play. We just don't know when. Now, what's interesting is Pete Crow Armstrong hit a home run. It was his 11th of the year, and all of a sudden, he is leading the team. Kyle Tucker has 10. Suzuki has 10. Carson Kelly has 8. Dansby Swanson has 9. And Michael Bush has 7. And Pete Crow Armstrong, all of a sudden, known for his speed and his fielding and the ability to lay down a bunt, is hitting home run after home run. And I cautioned about him swinging for the fences because his best part of his game is putting the ball on the ground and putting pressure on the opposing teams with his speed. But all of a sudden, he's a home run hitter too. So they got to be careful. They can't just walk him because he'll steal second. But they have to pay attention to him as a hitter too. He's doing really good hitting the low and inside sliders, which are usually tough from a right-hander to a left-hander, but he's putting it in play. Today is going to be a rough day for me. I have a colonoscopy tomorrow, so today is a poopy prep day for me. But before I start taking that medicine, I wanted to give you this, and it's the Cubs winning walk-off fashion. They have a game tonight. Tyone is going against Weathers, who's making his debut as a major leaguer. He has no record this year, so it's going to be an interesting series finale tonight at 6:40. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment, go ahead. It doesn't have to be a nice comment. You can say, I hate your mustache, I hate the Cubs, I prefer the White Sox. And you can prefer them. There's no rule that you have to like the Cubs. However, I like the Cubs. I hope for the White Sox. I mean, a big thing that happened last week is the Pope is from Chicago, and he is a Bears fan. There's a question about whether he's a White Sox fan or a Cubs fan, but there's video of him at the White Sox World Series in 2005 in his White Sox gear. But when my kids were in town, if the Cubs were in town, I took them to a Cub game. If the White Sox were in town, I took them to see the White Sox. So I was a White Sox fan when I was there. But if the Cubs were playing the Sox, I was always for the White Sox. When the White Sox were in the World Series that year, my dad was down visiting me in Mississippi, and I just went to sleep. I couldn't stay awake, and he watched them. He loved the Cubs. He loved the White Sox. He liked them both. And I have to say the Pope probably liked the White Sox and the Cubs. But it's not every day a Chicago team gets to go to the World Series. That's not to say he doesn't like. Now, I know people who like the White Sox, like my best friend Mike. He hates the Cubs. I don't. I root for the White Sox. But if the Cubs are playing the White Sox, I got to pull for the Cubs. I'm more indifferent to the White Sox. Indifference is okay. But I love the Bears, and they are releasing the NFL schedule tonight. And they know who the Bears are going to play. And they have the second toughest schedule. The New York Giants have the toughest schedule. And their opponent's schedule from last year was .574. For the Cubs, it was .571, which is the same strength of schedule as the Detroit Lions got. I don't understand how that works. The Bears finished last. They're supposed to play a last place schedule, but it doesn't always work out that way. They have 11 games against teams over 500 last year, and playing 10 playoff teams. And we'll find out exactly when. There's a lot of speculation. I don't like to speculate. I like to tell you what's going on. I'll offer my opinion, but if it is my opinion, I'm going to tell you. But I'm looking forward to watching the Cubs tonight in between trips to the bathroom. And then tomorrow it's a colonoscopy, just a screening colonoscopy. I had a polyp in 2018, and it's time to double check and hope for the best. But this is the Cubbears Fan Report. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I do appreciate you watching, and have a nice day.